everyone, half a day. So I do have some other updates and just more observations and I guess another tip really that we got from other Spark drivers. So I do hope you're gonna buckle up and watch the rest of this video so you can hear what I have to say. So what I have to share is, like I said, observations in reference to the update to the Spark app, issues with scammers, and this is again from working the zones we have from our home zone to the one that we travel to that's about 35 minutes away. And then even when we went on our little vacation last week, we did do some Spark out in that market, and was able to observe a couple of things out in that area. So the first thing has to do with the app. I did notice that when we turned on the Spark app out in the market, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, we noticed that there was something different when you go take a look at your metrics. So if you're watching this video, take a moment, go and check out your metrics and tell me what it says when it comes to the 4 things that you're getting rated on. Because what I had noticed, what was different while there in South Carolina, is that it said, now I forgot. The original thing, it says dropped trips. But then the other thing was, sorry, I couldn't remember the terms that was used. But in reference to what we noticed was different about the Spark app in Myrtle Beach area, was that it doesn't say drop trip. It actually says completion rate. So, I mean, on one hand, that's not really a big deal. But what was strange was the fact that, 2 things. Was my dropped trips rate was low. I think I was sitting like at a 2%. But when in that zone, when it had switched to completion rate, it was actually coming through as saying that a 97%. And the reason why I'm saying that is strange is because with my husband's, his drop trips rate was higher than mine. His was sitting at a 4%. But when it had switched over to that market's version of the app, his completion rate was higher than mine. His was sitting at a 98%. So that was just one thing. The other interesting thing was when we had, our vacation was over and we left Myrtle Beach area, and we went to Simpsonville to visit my mother-in-law out, to visit her before we continued our trip back home. But anyways, we had planned to do a little bit of work while we were out there as well. So I had turned on my Spark app. And the interesting thing was that it reverted back to what I thought it was initially, where it said drop trips. It changed from completion rate to drop trips again. So I thought that was very interesting. And being back in Texas, it still says that. So like I said, that was just a strange thing. Again, if you are a Spark driver, what does your app say in reference to your metrics? Does it say completion rate, or does it say drop trips? Leave a comment. I'd like to know. The other interesting thing that I noticed, I don't know if you guys had received any confirmation about this, any emails about this upcoming update, or if it really is just a trial run in some specific markets and they're not saying anything about it yet. But because in this market that we're working right now, we do talk to the other regular Spark drivers, and she happened to let us know that she knows someone else in a different state who told her that a new security measure that they're doing, it's not just the facial recognition, but they're wanting to scan your driver's license. Not just any ID, They want to be scanning your driver's license. And her friend actually sent her a screenshot of what it looks like. And then I asked her, I said, please, can you send me that? Because that, in reference to the whole scamming and especially with the fraud accounts, I really feel if it does really well wherever they're testing it, and they work out any kinks or anything like that, and then they, get that out there nationwide, roll it out to all the markets, I really think it can curb, some of the issues with the fraud accounts. But this is what it looks like. This is the screenshot. And so, like I said, it's very interesting. Both my husband and I were just like, yes, that's another step forward in, that Walmart Spark is taking to fix some of these big issues. I mean, because to this day, in some of my older videos that I've done that are 2 or 3 months old now, I'm still getting comments from new viewers to those older videos talking about, oh, this is very, a big problem in their market too. They're still having issues with people, using multiple phones and whatnot, because it's unfortunate that it's very true that you're getting legitimate drivers that are renting out their accounts. So, that's just pretty sad. But again, I'm just hoping, again, if you're watching this video and if it's being tested in your market, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. And even if it hasn't reached you yet, but you've heard something to this fact, again, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking, because me personally, I'm happy about that. I'm hoping, that if they are just testing it at the moment with being able to scan your driver's license, that it works out and that they roll it out everywhere. And, touching up on that whole, multiple phone thing. I mean, again, yeah, when you see a person with multiple devices in their hand, you don't know exactly what they're doing. But on the other hand, especially if you've been doing it long enough, you kind of see the little telltale signs that, yeah, you know exactly what they're doing. And it was sad that when we went out to South Carolina last year in November, and we were working in South Carolina, at that time, we didn't see issues with unusual activities. It wasn't until we got back home, and then, starting in January of this year is when we started to see those issues and feeling it, should I say. But when, we only did 2 shifts when we were at Myrtle Beach. We did a day shift, and then we did an evening shift. And on one of the times when we were working on the evening shift, I had gone in to do a shopping order, and I'm walking in and I see another person with 2 phones. And yeah, he could have been using the phone, one phone to be recording or whatever, but one phone was just laying inside of his cart. It didn't look like he was using it to record or anything. And the other one, you can see that he was swiping through it. So possibly looking at the orders and whatnot. And that was the other thing that I noticed about that market was, as if you saw my previous videos, especially the ones talking about, working in a tourist community, if it's worth it, is that we did see that, there was some stores were better than others in reference to some actually had designated areas while some didn't. Some, they because we're used to showing whether they asked to see it or not. I'm used to showing my phone at the end when I'm getting ready to leave the store, showing the phone. And, they take a look at it, or they actually want to see a little bit more. They want to see your order summary. And it's pretty obvious that there's stores that they give you this dumbfounded look because when you show them your phone, and they're just like giving you that look like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that type thing. Some places, it's very obvious that the store knows and is aware of the situation with scammers and frauds, and are actually doing something about it. And then you've got some stores where the employees are so oblivious to what's going on in and around their store. And that's the reason why nothing's being done about it. Some people know what Spark is. Some employees know what Spark is. And then some have no idea. So, I don't know. I don't know why some stores, the higher ups, are doing what they can to make sure that they don't have any issues in their store, in their zone, or however many stores that they're managing. While some markets, some states, they're like, what's going on? Stealing? Fraud? What does that mean? So I don't know. The whole thing about multiple devices, people using multiple devices. I mean, what would you do? You're driving by the front entrance of Walmart and you see a guy standing outside, and it was a quick glance between my husband and myself looking at him because he was standing right at the edge of the curb as we were driving by, and it looked like he had at least 6 devices in his hand. And he saw that we were looking at him because he was just right there, and I just happened to be looking out the window as we were driving by, and we were like, it was pretty obvious he was carrying all these devices in his hand. And anyways, we went and parked, and he was no longer standing there. And my husband, he wanted to get a closer look. He gets out, and ironically, he ended up, before he even got out of the car, he ended up getting a shopping order. It was for something small. So he went inside, and he happened to, walk by the guy, and he had a good glance that he was, in fact, holding multiple devices. Not just 2, not just 3, but at least 5 devices in his hand, waiting outside the store. So he goes inside, and I was like, I wanted to get it on film. I wanted to record it so people can see. And so I did. I went out there and had my phone going, and I was recording. And the interesting was, he was standing right there in front of the Walmart entrance. And the next thing you know, and I'm going to show a brief clip, a very brief clip, and it's going to blur. And the ironic thing is that the moment this guy, you'll see him walking out straight towards that guy, you can tell, and I saw there was nothing in his hand. And the moment he got close to the guy, my phone just blurred on its own, just went blurry. And I was like, I'm looking at my phone, I said, what's going on? You can tell that the guy had less, the guy had turned around with something in his hand, and he walked off. I didn't see, if he decided to, if he just left, or he went to go park his car and go into the store for an order or whatever, or went to the curbside area to pick up an order. And which I should have paid attention to that to see if that's what he was doing. But I went further, the guy, after handing him a device, went into the store, and I continued also heading into the store. And this is just a quick screenshot of what I saw when I went into the store. And as you can see, he had one device in his hand and 2 more on the bench next to him. One was a phone, one looked like a charger. So again, what would you think when you saw something like that? If you saw something like that, and the fact that it was right outside the Walmart doors, where there's going to be cameras and everything, that they're passing out devices right there, right outside the store. He apparently had given one away already from the time that we had saw him, the first time we had saw him, and then we had gone to park. And by the time my husband had a closer look at him, that there was one less device in his hand. And then by the time I actually walked into the store after him, again, another less device, one less device in his hand at that point, which I knew for a fact because I saw with my eyes. May not have been clear on the recording, but the fact that the guy had walked up to him with nothing in his hand, and then as he walked away, he had a phone in his hand. there are times, especially for that specific area, that we think we're seeing some changes, some positive changes to help fix that situation. But I mean, I don't know. And then at times, moments like that, when there's being so obvious. Like I said, those are just some of the things we've noticed here since I made that last posting about the bots, the scammers, and the jammers. Thankful for those store higher ups that are, they are aware of what's going on and they're doing something about it. Thankful for those. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, that the whole thing about it's not just facial recognition that you're going to have to do, which happens at any time. And that's what still makes me wonder, how are they getting past that? How are they getting past the facial recognition to where you're not just staring straight, you have to turn left, you have to turn right? How are they getting past that? Because, and I've had other viewers of my other videos, posting comments about that, and I'm seeing it on the Facebook posts, about, and it's happened with me, where you've had the app on for a while, but yet you still end up having to do the facial recognition. You're in the middle of doing an order, and the next you have to do a facial recognition. So how are they bypassing that? I mean, other than that, I understand on one hand that it can be of the fact that when the fraud account was created, it's using that person's face. That's how they are able to bypass the recognition. It may be someone else's name and whatever, but it's whoever's using that phone, that device frequently, it's registered to their face. But other than that, especially if the device has been given to different people at different times, how are they bypassing the facial recognition? So like I said, that's those are just some things, that we've seen, other things that we've seen, and then hearing about this new security update to the app, which I so hope is true, and then they continue to roll this out. So if you guys, hear about anything else, please leave a comment and let me know in reference to especially good stuff. If you're hearing that, the store that you're going to, doing something about these issues. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button so this video can get out to even more people to be able to see, and especially to hear about that update with scanning your ID. And then hit the notification bell so that way you'll know when I'm uploading more videos, especially ones like this. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Adios for now.